8:10. Nice story, this one, because a church in Teesside's received funding to replace a war memorial which had been stolen back in 2007. But it goes a little bit further than that, because the Heritage Lottery Fund are awarding £8,500 to Middlesbrough's All Saints Church. It's to commemorate the lives of local men from the Jers Mills Ironworks, but it will also be helping to develop a project called They Answered Their Country's Call, to commemorate those people from the town and the locality and from the church community who answered their country's call in the First World War and paid the ultimate sacrifice. But the aim of They Answer Their Country's Call is to get the wider community involved as well, as Father Glyn Holland explained to our reporter, Sean Williams.
In 2007, unfortunately, the memorial was prized from the wall and very badly damaged. It was smashed basically in two. Fortunately, when it was stolen, the person who took it for scrap took it to somebody who realised that it was perhaps more important than it appeared, and they were very honest, and so that's how it came. The theft managed to be detected because the scrap merchant wouldn't deal it. When it was stolen, like a lot of us, we felt really that it was sort of almost an act of desecration, really, because people whose names are commemorated on the memorial still have descendants and relatives living in Middlesbrough. And I believe passionately that their sacrifice is not best commemorated purely by war memorials and monuments. I believe that the best tribute to their sacrifice is creating a better world in which we live. And when it was stolen and desecrated in that way, it really sort of pulled me up short and made me think, is this actually the world that they died to, to create, and how are we honouring their memory by the lives that we lead? So I asked some very fundamental questions, really.
I'm Tosh Warwick. I'm the project manager for the They Answered Their Country's Call All Saints World War I project. They were everyday people like you and I, and then went off to war with their colleagues. These are very much the everyday people of early 20th century Middlesbrough, and that's a very, very important aspect of our history to remember. They underpin the community that developed here as an iron and steel manufacturing town, and they also played a key role in the Great War. It's a fantastic legacy for All Saints Church, for Middlesbrough, but also the wider region. It's a project that brings a lot of joy to people, even though it is a legacy of an act of stealing a war memorial. Obviously this is a very positive way in which we can leave a legacy for those soldiers, but also ensure that the young people remember those who were very important to their history, possibly descendants.
I'm Stuart Duffy. I work at William Lane's Foundry, and I've done since 1978. I've always been interested in the First World War, so I've been doing a bit of my grandfather's history, and by a simple twist of fate, my grandfather was shot and wounded in the Battle of the Stairs on the 12th of April. Unfortunately, he was shot and wounded and taken prisoner of war. But there's a gentleman on the plaque called Charles Watson who was in the same street battle, and unfortunately he was shot and killed, and that's why he's on the plaque. So a little bit of research, and you can, it was a bit spooky to think that my grandfather, even though he was a territorial, was fighting alongside this man who was on the plaque.
Hello, my name is Tim Butler, and I am involved with the research of this project. I think it's a very important thing for the community. I think obviously the names on the war memorial, a lot of people don't know who they are, and these don't know who the people who fought and died for them in their community. I also think it's very, very important for the people to know that the reason that perhaps Middlesbrough is even still here is because of the good work that these people have done. And so I think it's important for everybody to know about that these days, to know about their own heritage and history.
Tim Butler ending, I should say, that report by Sean Williams. Fantastic piece of news for Father Glyn and everybody at All Saints Church that they're getting that Heritage Lottery Fund, £8,500, not only to help them restore the war memorial that was stolen back in 2007, but also to fund the project. They answered their country's call so that we can continue to remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. It's BBC Tea's Breakfast.